You might be wondering what Hatha Yoga is, how it compares to other styles of yoga, and if it's the right style of yoga for you. Let's dig in. Traditional Hatha Yoga is a classical form of yoga. The word Hatha means to strike or force. So you might hear Hatha Yoga called the yoga of force. Hatha Yoga is a tantric practice. Yes, that tantra. But before you start thinking of sex-fueled, shamanistic rituals, let's be clear that tantra is very misunderstood. Now there's lots to explore about that in another video, but the key takeaway here is that tantra is the science of energy management. Now we know its energy management origins. Hatha Yoga is a methodology to shape and manage the forces of energy in your body. The word Hatha is actually pretty clever wordplay. The Ha part refers to the sun. Yogis acknowledge that the sun is a source of energy and they use it to build prana. Hatha Yoga contains practices to help you build energy within your body, to make you feel more alive, more vibrant, more energetic. Hatha Yoga is a really great practice for someone who's feeling a bit lethargic, experiencing depression, or maybe they just feel like something isn't quite right in their body. The Thapa means moon, and yogis believe that your mind's natural state is to be clear and bright, just like the full moon. But because life gets in the way of this, Hatha Yoga contains practices to help you feel more calm, more focused, and to restore that clarity back into your mind. Because of that, Hatha Yoga is a great practice for people who are feeling anxious or unfocused, or just like they need some more balance in their life. Ultimately, Hatha Yogis want a clear mind and vibrant energy to come together. And when they do, they strike, or our word Hatha takes on a new meaning of force. And this force unlocks energy that's stored deep within our bodies. This stored energy is called Kundalini. And when it's unlocked, it helps us to feel more creative, more confident. It unleashes our willpower and ultimately helps us to become the very best version of ourselves. And that's why we practice Hatha Yoga. It's not intended to be a workout, although there are some nice strength and flexibility benefits that come with it. Its main goal is self-empowerment by stabilizing the mind, building up energy, and unlocking your full potential in life. It can help to think of yoga practices like recipes. A recipe is essentially a methodology of how to bring together certain ingredients and work them, manipulate them, shape them into a new form. In traditional Hatha Yoga, these recipes have been passed down generation after generation for hundreds of years with the same delicious outcome, self-empowerment. As any chef will know, the great thing about recipes is that your understanding of them evolves over time, especially if you keep using the same ones. You start out with the basic fundamentals of a dish, but over time you start to understand the seasonings, the herbs and the spices and how they impact and enhance the dish and why it falls flat when you don't use them. In traditional Hatha Yoga, the fundamental recipe contains asanas or physical poses, pranayama and meditation. There are also extra seasonings that can be added as you become more experienced. If we start adding or swapping these fundamental ingredients or start to increase or change the spices, then sure, the dish will still be really tasty, but its flavor, its essence has started to change. It starts to become something different. It's like using flour, milk, and yeast to make bread. You only need to swap out the yeast for an egg and then you have a pancake. It's totally different. And it's the same in yoga. If we start tweaking our fundamental ingredients and the ratios, we get to different and newer yoga styles. Vinyasa, yin, ashtanga, power flow, slow flow, aerial, satya, rave, doga. And it's not that any of these other styles are wrong. In fact, you might prefer some of them. But if you want to taste the true essence of Hatha Yoga, your goal is to unlock the best version of yourself and manage your energy, then you have to stick to the traditional recipe. Sticking to the traditional recipes, Hatha Yoga classes should always move through asana or poses, breath work or pranayama, and meditation. That's a complete Hatha Yoga class. And this is the format you'll see in my classes. Often the breathwork and meditation are Kriyas, which are ancient techniques that have been passed down through generations. They're very specific. And actually meditation is the name of the game here. That's the main purpose of yoga, is to get deeper into meditation and start to unlock insights about yourself and who you are and what you want to achieve in the world. As you become more advanced on the Hatha yogic path, your teacher might start to bring in your seasonings, things like Bandhas, Mudras, Khumbakas, breath retentions, or even longer Kriyas. Hatha yoga was the first style of yoga that I ever tried, and I was drawn to it as a beginner because it's quite a nice middle ground physically. It's faster paced than things like yin or restorative yoga, but it's a slower style than things like Vinyasa or Ashtanga. You don't get as hot and sweaty. Why? Because the goal of Hatha yoga is to calm the mind and build energy. The way that you do that is by having less poses, by holding them slightly longer and using the poses to tune into your mind and tune into your breath. As I've learned more and more about Hatha yoga, I've also really enjoyed connecting with yoga's philosophy, and it's started to open up a spiritual side of myself that I didn't even know existed for my very scientific mind. Now, I've tried many different styles of yoga and honestly I've enjoyed all of them, but Hatha yoga is the one that I've found has restored more balance to my life. It's been there when I've started to achieve different things, and it's also given me experiences that unless I had experienced them myself I would not believe were real. And it's my hope that you get to experience these gifts too. I'd love to hear your experience of Hatha yoga, whether you're new to it or really far down your journey. And if you have any questions about this style of practice, just drop them into the comments below and subscribe if you'd like more insights like this.